I would encourage, like, every business, I believe, should grow from referrals, from word of mouth. It is the most important pillar in any lead gen in your business. I never have to convince a business owner that in order to get referrals, you have to build relationships. And in order to build relationships, you got to keep in touch. The $1 million question for all business owners is, what do you send to your database, your sphere, to keep you top of mind? And that's really why we created the magazine. It is for your VIPs, your most valued relationships. It's filled with content that they would enjoy, not just financial information or real estate information. It's things like travel, art, food. It's your magazine. There's no other ads. It just features you and great content. And the cool thing is you can personalize it to the individual.
Welcome to Sterling Insights, Stand Out and Supercharge Your Assets, the go-to podcast for financial advisors aiming to grow their assets under management, stand out in a crowded market, and retain assets nearly forever. Are you advising high net worth clients who own appreciated capital assets? Do you want to help them sell without losing a quarter, a third, or even more of their hard-earned profits to capital gains taxes? Then this podcast is tailored for you. Each episode brings you the latest strategies and expert advice from leading financial advisors, seasoned attorneys, and experienced CPAs. Learn how to maximize your clients' wealth, minimize their taxes, and supercharge your advisory practice with actionable insights. Join us on Sterling Insights, Stand Out and Supercharge Your Assets, where you'll gain the knowledge and tools to set yourself apart and achieve unparalleled success in wealth management. Subscribe now and empower your practice for a brighter, more prosperous future. Welcome back to Sterling Insights, Stand Out and Supercharge Your Assets. I'm your host, Roger Silk, and today we have a very exciting guest, Luke Acree. Luke is a leader in relationship marketing, lead generation, and business growth. He's the president of ReminderMedia, and he has 35,000 current clients and has helped over 100,000 entrepreneurs and businessmen grow their business. I guess I'm supposed to say business people these days, huh, Luke?
You call them whatever you want to call them, Roger.
He's doing over 300 million in sales. He's got a spot on the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies 4 years in a row. We'll like to hear more about that. He also co-hosts Stay Paid. And if you're in the business, you want to know more about that, which is a top 30 marketing podcast. And he's been featured, among other places, Forbes, Entrepreneur, and Yahoo Finance. Great to have you, Luke. Thank you.
Roger, great to be here, man. Appreciate the opportunity to talk, and looking forward to where this convo will go.
I'm sure people listening to your bio want to hear a bunch of things. Why don't we start with your podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, Stay Paid Podcast is a sales and marketing podcast, really a labor of love. What happened is, I had all these clients, and my passion has been marketing. And what I have learned over the years is you can give people all the knowledge, right? And they might have the head knowledge, but if they don't have the heart knowledge, they'll never take action. And so there's this gap between giving people the marketing tools and the education and getting them to actually take action and implement it. And the podcast really came out of trying to fill that gap. How do I get motivation in front of our clients by talking to people like yourself, proven industry leaders, entrepreneurs who are successful, interview them, get that in front of my clients so they get motivated to take action with the products and services that they're already purchasing from ReminderMedia. And that's really came from it. I'll tell you this, podcasting is difficult because, I think it's 90% of all podcasts stop. There's this real thing called pod fade. Most podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. We're almost to 700 episodes. So we've been at it for 7+ years. First 3 years, nobody listened. So came from a family of 8 kids. My dad's a pastor. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I don't even think they listened. Like, nobody listened for the first 3 years. We put it out every Monday and Thursday. And then about the third year, it started to get some traction. And that just speaks to consistency. It got as high as number 6 on the charts for Apple. We usually are definitely in the top 100, but we're up in the top 30s multiple times with marketing podcasts. all that's really irrelevant. It's really trying to give you actionable items. Things like, hey, how do you make the best email subject line? Or what should your postcard look like? Or how do you design a landing page? Or cold calling your Facebook leads that come in? Like, what should you say? Giving you actionable tips that other entrepreneurs are executing on that you could apply in your business. And I close every podcast with saying the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every single industry, because ReminderMedia, we work in 140 different industries. It is not their intelligence. It's not their good looks. It is that they take action. That is what it is. They hear an idea on a podcast, read an idea in a book, and they immediately go from idea to implementation. And they don't put a ton in between the idea and implementation. And that's really what Stay Paid is all about, is how do I give you motivation and insightful insights to encourage you to take action today.
I love that. If a couple of maybe recent ones, if you've done 700, I'm sure you don't remember them all. Maybe just like some people who are listening, it's the kind of actionable takeaway that they might get if they listen to your podcast.
Yeah. I'll give you the one we just interviewed. Jay, he runs subjectlines.com, has, billions of emails going. I think he said like 6 billion emails that go out a year through his agency, and he's measuring like subject lines. And so here's a simple one for you is what type of subject line should you use to get the most opens? And he said what he is finding, one word, all caps. One word, all caps, is getting higher open rates than the normal subject line. And the reason why he's seeing that, and it makes sense, think about your Gmail or your Outlook or whatever email provider you use. One word in all caps, it would stand out in what I call as the feed. Right, you're scrolling through your email and you see all these subject lines, right, that are going across the screen, and then all of a sudden you see one word, all caps, and you would probably open that. And so that is one tip that it's like you can easily hear it and go, hey, I'm going to implement that in my next email newsletter. Another thing he said is emojis are still only used 15% of the time. So even though it feels like maybe emojis are overdone, they're not overdone. They're still proving to get higher open rates. So try an emoji at the beginning of your subject line. The best thing in marketing is really A/B testing, right? Always be testing in marketing. Yeah. So those are just some ideas of like the tangible action items. Another example would be, we do a lot of cold calling. So I have about 100 plus reps on the phone all day doing 200 plus dials. So I tend to go down cold calling a lot. And I say cold calling, there's no really cold calls anymore. There's so much information out there on people. But things like the double dial technique. A double dial is where I call Roger and you don't answer. But my number came across your phone, and guess what you are? You're curious. Who is this? And you're waiting to see if I leave a voicemail. Well, if I don't leave a voicemail, you're thinking, okay, it doesn't matter, sales call. If I wait 30 or so seconds, maybe a minute, and I call back, now you're really curious. Why is this person calling me twice? Statistically, it increases pickup rate about 18%. What you should do is double dial. If they still don't answer, then pull out your phone and go, Roger, ? Text them. And Roger's going to respond and go, who's this? Then you respond, I'm calling you now. It's like, how do you get them on the phone? How do you intro it? And those are just some of the action items that we come out of our podcast with.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm sure people will want to find your podcast to get more of those, because that's cool, actionable stuff, just like you said.
Yep, the Stay Paid Podcast, you can find it at staypaidpodcast.com. You can find us on social media or YouTube. Apple and Spotify is probably where people listen the most, but in any place you listen to podcasts, we should be there.
So how long have you been in business? How long have you been doing Reminder
So we've been in business 20 years. I've personally been here 13 years. So it's a family business. My uncle, who's my partner in crime, started it about 20 years ago. He was in the print ad space. He actually had the idea. So for those who don't know ReminderMedia, our flagship product is essentially a custom magazine for your business. So it's essentially the small business can't afford to make their own magazine. So we give the small business the ability to have their own magazine, just like a Better Homes and Garden or an Architectural Digest. And we give it to them for literally $4.99 a magazine. So you can send out a personalized magazine for less than a Hallmark card. And so Steve, who is my uncle and partner, he had this concept, is really genius for veterinarians. He created a magazine called Healthy Pet, which he said, I'm going to get veterinarians to send Healthy Pet to all the pet owners to remind them to bring their pets in to get their shots. And, that took off, but, like any entrepreneurial journey, you learn a lot along the way. And he ended up trying to sell it. He sold it. And then it was just I don't have the time to go into all the details, but it was just a disaster. Like, he got canned the next day. It was just a bad whole move. So he ends up going, well, I wonder if the same thing will work in real estate, and starts getting it off the ground, going up to the recession in 2008, 2010 timeframe. At this point in time, I kind of merge into the story because I had started a company called Nextmark Design, which was a website company, graphic design company with my brother, Dan, who's actually our marketing director now. Him and I were selling websites to churches and small businesses. And Steve had this, he had hit the recession. He was kind of burnt out. And he convinced Dan and I, hey, why don't we join forces? And, that was about 13 years ago. And I really say, man, God's blessed us. So I'm a person of faith. It's been an amazing ride. We've grown from just under 30 employees to about 300 all across the nation and about 140 different industries. Our flagship is still the custom magazine, but we have grown over time to where we offer postcards, we offer email marketing, social media marketing, both paid and organic posting. So it's really been now a full-fledged marketing company. If you need to generate, acquire, nurture your leads, and then nurture your database to drive referrals, that's what we're here to do.
Luke, I would like to just ask you to take a few minutes and just kind of quickly run through each of those products that you just mentioned, or services, or really their product as a service, I guess.
I'll start with the most important, and I'll try not to do shameless selling here on the podcast, so I appreciate the setup. I would encourage, like, every business, I believe, should grow from referrals, from word of mouth. It is the most important pillar in any lead gen in your business. I never have to convince a business owner that in order to get referrals, you have to build relationships. And in order to build relationships, you got to keep in touch. The $1,000,000 question for all business owners is, what do you send to your database, your sphere, to keep you top of mind? And that's really why we created the magazine. It is for your VIPs, your most valued relationships. It's filled with content that they would enjoy, not just financial information or real estate information. It's things like travel, art, food. It's your magazine. There's no other ads. It just features you in great content. And the cool thing is you can personalize it to the individual. So if, Roger, I knew it was your birthday, on the inside cover of the magazine, I could write you a birthday letter just to you. And every magazine can be uniquely customized, which allows you, if you're doing a seminar for your clients, you could customize the magazine to be handed out at your seminar with ads that talk about things about that you went over in your seminar. You can have these sent there and featured in their waiting rooms, but you can feature those local businesses in your magazine as a way to just build reciprocity and rapport with that other local business owner, or you could get them to pay to be in your magazine. There's a lot of creative ways you can use it. So the magazine is really our flagship, but the concept is I want you to be omni-channel, which is a fancy way to just say, hey, I want you to be in the email inbox, the direct mailbox, social media, and text message. And so the magazine is kind of the way to be in the direct mailbox. Then I'm going to get you in the email inbox by providing you a digital version of your magazine that you can send, as well as other email newsletters. Then I'm going to give you all the content from your magazine. So, I mean, thousands of pieces of content categorized like travel content, financial content, real estate content, and it's going to be all branded to you. And we have an algorithm where you can create a content schedule and just have that auto posting for you on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on your Instagram. And so the idea is, here's your magazine coming in the mailbox, your digital version hitting the email inbox, your content going on social consistently, so your consumers and your prospects see you everywhere. And then we want to tie it all together to do the most important thing in business, which is, how do you get hand raisers? How do you get people to say, Roger, I need help with finances, right? Help me invest. And so the goal is, how do I get leads? We have landing pages as part of our suite of tools. So your magazine can be linked out to a landing page. So imagine, like on the back cover here, you could do an ebook that says the top 3 mistakes people make when investing with their 401k. Scan this QR code to get access to this ebook. And so that QR code will go to a landing page we've created for you where they can download that ebook. That same type of idea can be put on your digital version of your magazine. Your social media posts can link to your landing pages, because I don't know when Roger's going to need my service, but I definitely know Roger will at some point in time need a financial advisor. And so what my goal is I want to get Roger to know me, like me, and trust me enough that when the time comes where he has that need, I'm the first one that pops into his mind. And
So let me just ask you, I'm not sure if everybody can see it, but you're holding up a magazine. The magazine is a regular magazine size, which is what?
what's funny is it's actually a little smaller than a regular magazine size. So a regular magazine size would be like a full, page. This is a little bit smaller than that, but that's actually done on purpose, because when you stack magazines on a coffee table, how do you stack them? Largest to smallest. And so we want it to be just a tiny bit. It's not much smaller, but it is definitely smaller, right? If you put it over a Better Homes and Garden, it's going to be a little bit smaller than the Better Homes and Garden, because we want to end up on top on the coffee table.
Right.
But just, but it is a glossy magazine. Like, this is hard cardstock, a glossy coffee table quality, 48 pages of high quality content. I have writers on staff, editors on staff. We create the content for you. There's 4 different content categories. I'm holding a home one right here. So think Better Homes and Garden content. I'm holding a lifestyle one. I know my lighting is kind of blurring it out, but it's called American Lifestyle. So travel, art, food, design. I have a health one called Start Healthy, and then a business one called Business in Action. And these content categories are for you to be able to hit your client with the magazine you think they would enjoy the most. If Roger, you were into working out, I'd send you the health one. And if Judy was on my list into Better Homes and Garden stuff, I'd send her the home one. You can mix and match, and they're exclusive to you. So if you send to me, nobody else can send to me.
And so if an advisor or anybody is listening and says, oh, I think this is a good idea, I'd like to have my clients and maybe some prospects, right? What do your customers sign up for if they like the magazine?
So I always like to tell people you can do a 48-page coffee table publication, designed and delivered, so we take care of everything, for less than what a Hallmark card costs. So Hallmark cards are $6, $7. Go to CVS, pretty outrageous, right? Without postage. 48-page magazine, personalized, $4.99.
Is that delivered?
That's delivered, shipping included. Minimum order is not 1,000. The minimum order is only 50, 50. So to hit your top 50 clients, you're talking $250 basically.
And presumably magazines come on a regular basis, so you're not interested in sending it once.
Yeah, the goal would be to do this bi-monthly, so 6 touches a year. 6 touches a year to your clients, so $250 every 2 months to hit your top 50 relationships. You can go up in increments of 1, so you could do 51, 52. It's just $4.99 times however many you do. We have normally a one-time setup fee of $300. That's for the lifetime of your account, covers all the designs, all that stuff, and we do a lot of work to put the magazine together. Would love to incentivize action takers and reduce that down promotion-wise. We could do a landing page. If you go to remindermedia.com/go, you can get it for $99.99. That one-time setup fee for the lifetime. So it'd be $100 to set up, and then $4.99 times a minimum of 50. And then again, it's exclusive. So if you send to me, nobody else can send to my address. You own the address, and we verify all the addresses. We lock them down to you. For finance, there's compliance. So we go to a lot of compliance stuff. We have partnerships with Ameriprise, LPL Financial, Cetera, you name it. We have thousands of financial advisors that use this. So every broker dealer is a little bit different, believe it or not. And so depending on your broker dealer, there's a compliance process that we go through. Usually it involves, we do a PDF proof of the magazine, send it to the compliance officer, they approve it, or we've already pre-approved ads and pre-approved content at the corporate level that will show up in your interface.
Okay, thank you. That's a pretty good overview of the magazine. Then you said that over time, that's your flagship product, the magazine, and you've added these other 3 or 4.
Yeah, my goal would be to basically have you come in, do the magazine, and then add on. So you maybe have 50 to 150 core clients that you send the magazine to, but maybe you have 500 other prospects in your database, but you don't want to spend $4.99 on them. Send them the digital version of the magazine so they can get a digital version. Take all the content that we have and post that out on your Facebook and Instagram and social media. That's really the goal. And then have the landing pages be on your content that's going out through these distribution channels, email and print and stuff, to drive to people to fill out a form to raise their hand that I'm interested in whatever information you're offering. And then you want to hear the real gold?
Yeah.
Yeah. The teaser, it's like the QVC, and there's more. So the real key, I've been doing this, obviously, like I said, about 13 years, and it's been interesting to watch, okay, the people who crush it with our program versus the ones who get subpar results, right? Because no marketing is magical, right? You have to work the system. The ones who call behind the magazine, it just is outrageously successful for them. So they literally use the magazine as their reason to call. And the call is a non-salesy call. So I send it to you, Roger, if I'm role playing. It would be, hey, Roger, was thinking about you today, man. Hey, wanted to reach out. Reason why you popped into my mind, I just got my latest issue of American Lifestyle. It actually reminded me I'm sending it to you as a gift. And obviously, if you were married, I would know your wife's name. So I say, hey, I hope you guys are loving it. I try to customize it and put some recipes in there. I don't know if you tried the blueberry cornbread waffles one. Megan and I tried it last weekend, man. It was phenomenal. So you should check that out. But how's life been going? And it allows me to have a non-salesy way to reach out to you and just catch up on life. In the industry, you know this more than I do, there is a huge deficit where male financial advisors don't connect to the wives in their accounts, and they lose that asset when the husband passes away, or even worse, the kids who are the beneficiaries, they never hear from Roger. And so it's like, how do I get my brand and business in front of Luke and tell him that I'm your dad, Alan's financial advisor, in a non-salesy way, in a way that's just gift oriented, it's just value driven. And the magazine has been an incredible way to do it because it's high enough quality where it doesn't come across as solicitation, but it's not salesy. So it's easy to be able to just put value in front of them and start building that brand and relationship.
Luke, if somebody's listening, they probably are curious to see what's the magazine look like. Do you have, I'm sure you do, samples online somewhere that people can go and take a look?
Right there, and you'll see where you can request a PDF or an estimate and stuff like that. And then if you go to remindermedia.com/go, that will be a special sign up page where you can get some special deals and stuff like that for this podcast. But I would love for people to check it out. Literally 84% of the people who mail with us one time continue because they go, Luke, it's the one thing that I send where people actually call me. I mean, you can't make this up. Like I literally, my Instagram, if you go to @Luke Acree, I'm going to reshare it. I just got tagged in another post. This happens to me all the time. Let me pull this up, where it's a client sharing a post from their magazine of friends and family showcasing their magazine. Like this one says, I love, it's a real estate agent, but that little green thing says, I love my realtor. And it's one of my clients' clients posting my client's magazine that we sent them. And that's the reaction that we're looking for. It's like, it creates that buzz. Roger's on a magazine and they're posting it on social.
Yeah. Did you say there was some promo code they should use if they hear you here?
Yeah, if you go to remindermedia.com/go, and that will be a special sign up page where you don't have to pay a $300 setup fee.
Okay.
Just go to that site and I'll redirect that site to where you can get a special deal.
Okay. So advisors listening, he's saying, I love what Luke is saying. I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger. I want to do my own content. And they haven't figured out yet that that's more work, but let's say someone wants to do that. What kinds of content have you been finding for financial advisors is working, or is people like it and maybe more than some other kind of content?
I'll give you 2 tips that have really helped me, or 2 frameworks that have really helped me for content. One is the exercise of you should sit down, and if every advisor, really every business owner, should map out their content pillars. So what are your content pillars that you want to post about? So for Luke Acree, it would be marketing as a content pillar for me. Like, I'm going to post on my Instagram about marketing. I'm going to post on my LinkedIn. This is what I do. It's what I love. But guess what else is a content pillar for me? My faith. I'm passionate about my faith and, who I am in Jesus, and I want people to know about it. And so that's a content pillar for me. Like, I'm going to post about that. Family's another one. Fitness is another one. And these are my content buckets. So I don't have to be thinking, I just know I'm going to post about these content buckets. And then the second thing you do in this exercise is called your value pillars. So it's like, here's my content buckets that I want to share about. How do I want to share them? So your value pillars are, do I want my content to be motivational? Do I want my content to be educational? Do I want my content to be inspirational, right? And maybe you're a comedian and you want it to be comical. So how are you going to share the content that you have? So for me, I lean on education and motivation. That's where tends to be my guide of what I like to do. And then here's the best part of this whole exercise. Then what I want you to do is sit down, Roger, and map out what I call is your life map. So take me back to as far as you can remember, Roger, you at 6 years old. And from 6 years old to today, write down in bullet point fashion or tree type fashion where you're doing the branches, every major life event or thing that you can remember. So for me, it would be like, I grew up in a family of 8 kids. I was homeschooled all the way to college. I was really into music and was in a family band from 13 to 19 years old, traveling up and down the East Coast. Went to a community college for 2 years because my mom didn't think I was cut out for 4-year university. But I'm writing down all of these. I dated my high school sweetheart and married her. I have 2 kids. All of a sudden, here's what you're going to find. And this is content fails for people because in the moment, it's really hard to be creative. In the moment, it's really hard to go, what am I going to post? And so what this life map is giving you is it's giving you all the things you can talk about. And then when you get really good, what you do is you look at what's happening in the world, trend-wise. It's called trend jacking. So what's happening in the world right now? That you can then look at your life map and an experience that you had. And then you can basically go, hey guys, I know right now the job market's really tough. Did you see this article from the Wall Street Journal? Job market's really tough. It actually reminds me in college how I got fired from my first job. And then you tell a story about what happened there in your life. And then you go, you know what it taught me though? Here's the keys that it taught me about, work and blah, 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 blah. And then you share the value that you want to give. And what this does is all of a sudden I'm getting to know Roger. Most people make the mistake is if you go out there and you just post financial content, you'll never get any engagement because people don't care. They care about Roger. What football team does he like? Does he have kids? That's how people get to know, like, and trust you. Tony Robbins teaches rapport is built on commonality, right? So commonality is not just the things you do, but it's the values you believe in. And so how do you showcase to people who you are and your values, because your vibe will attract your tribe. And that is how you get engagement on social. So the first exercise is really what I want to talk about. And then let me map out my whole life to give me a bunch of just stories that I can share on my social. So that's, high level exercise you can do. And then the more maybe even basic way to think about content is the 3 E's: education, entertainment, endearment. Like, I believe every great content strategy has education content to put you as the subject matter expert. So if you're a real estate agent, how do you become the SME of real estate, where nobody knows more about real estate than Luke Acree? And you need your community that you touch to think that. Entertainment is, you'll tune me out if I only give you boring stock market stuff or boring 401k stuff. So how do I entertain? So that could be a recipe card from a magazine, could be one of our most popular email newsletters, local events. We curate the local events happening in your community. We brand it to your business and we send it and say, here's what's happening in Philly the next 2 weeks. People love it. It gets great open rates because it's local and it's just entertaining stuff that's going on. And then the third, endearment, is great because it really taps into that showing your values, where if you don't have a charity or a local thing that you're giving back to, oh man, what a great opportunity. how you showcase to people, like study Fortune 500 companies, they all have charities. Fortune 50 companies, they all run TV commercials about their charities. They spend money to advertise them. Why? Because they're no dummy. They believe in their stock price. That's what they're accountable to. But they know consumers want to do business with businesses of purpose, not businesses of profit. So how do you showcase that Sterling Foundation Management is a business of purpose? So where are you giving back? Showcase the charities that you're giving back to, raise awareness for them. And that showcases to people what's important to you. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be the SPCA, Boys and Girls Club, the food bank in your local area. Could be the Little League teams, the PTA. How do you get involved in a local community thing where you give back? And then here's the key, like your magazine, if you did it with us, feature that charity on the back of your magazine. Post that on your social, and that shows to people, now your brand's in front of them, but it's not salesy, it's just giving back. But if you're doing this, education, entertaining, endearment content, that will get you known, like, and trusted.
That's a great answer. All your answers are really great. Unfortunately, we only have so much time here. We haven't gotten to talk about everything, but is there one particular thing that we haven't gotten to talk about yet that you want to make sure that?
I mean, I'm sure there is, but nothing's really popping into my mind besides just, appreciate the opportunity. And, education is pointless without action. So, it doesn't matter obviously, of the things I've said, you got to take action. Like you got to pick one thing and actually put it into action. Those are the winners. They have the idea. Implementation is right next to it. The losers are the ones that have the idea, and then they put so much time, space, operational expense in between the idea and that execution. That's what, at least take it with a grain of salt, but that's what I've learned in my short career. So you can look me up at Luke Acree. So Acree is ACREE. You can find me on Instagram, probably most active, but Facebook, LinkedIn. Would love to connect with you there if I can help you. Even if you don't use our products, we'd love to do that. Life is about relationships. So we'd love to build a relationship with you. If you want to learn about what we do marketing-wise for advisors and other businesses, go to remindermedia.com. And you can learn all about us. If you want to take advantage of that promo, it'd just be remindermedia.com/go, and I'll have a special promo there for you guys.
Luke, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Roger. Really appreciate it as well.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Sterling Insights. Stand out and supercharge your assets, where we provide the info you need from successful leading financial advisors, lawyers, and CPAs. Your hosts, Roger and Catherine Silk, invite you to learn more about Sterling Foundation Management by visiting sterlingfoundations.com.